More of the UK's stealth fighter Demonstrator revealed in new images. We are getting better insights into the configuration of the Demonstrator jet that will inform the design of the upcoming Tempest fighter for the British. This is from the Warzone. When BAE Systems unveiled the first rendering of the United Kingdom's combat air flying Demonstrator last year, it finally gave us a look at the test aircraft that will spearhead development of the Global Combat Air Program, at the center of which is the stealthy Tempest fighter. Now, new images, as well as a scale model, provide more details and a better idea of its scale. The company has released its clearest official photograph yet of the Demonstrator under construction, seen. It shows the fuselage of the jet being built at the BAE Systems facility in Samsbury. Meanwhile, the wings and fins are being built at Wharton, from where the aircraft is due to fly before the end of next year in 2027. In aerospace, a demonstrator or technology demonstrator is an aircraft built primarily to prove technologies, manufacturing methods, aerodynamic concepts, and systems integration, rather than to become an operational weapon system. As a precursor to a prototype that would more closely represent a final configuration and final design, they are nearly always smaller, simpler designs that leverage off-the-shelf components wherever possible to get them into the air faster and to prove core concepts and or a package of concepts. The last such known fighter demonstrator in this class built in the United Kingdom was the British Aerospace EAP that first flew back in 1986 and proved the concept for the Typhoon that followed it. The combat air flying demonstrator will inform the 6th generation Tempest fighter, which is being developed currently for the air forces of the United Kingdom, Italy, and even Japan for service in the 2040s and even beyond. Canada also recently joined the program as a watcher and observer, and there are reports that Germany might also be considering coming on board as well. Now, the new scale model confirms the twin-engine aircraft has outward canted twin fins and no horizontal tails. Another major difference that we know about relates to the power plant. The combat air flying demonstrator will use the same EJ200 turbofans as the Typhoon. The production Tempest will feature an all-new power plant that is now under development. Nonetheless, officials have said that the demonstrator will have fighter-style handling, despite its size and lack of thrust compared to the Tempest. Overall, the demonstrator aircraft has some similarities to the F-35, except the horizontal tails, including forward swept intakes that are a DSI design and a prominent chine on the forward fuselage. The center fuselage section is notably long and broad, something carried over, but to a lesser degree, from Tempest renderings and models. The inboard leading edge of the wing is slightly cranked. There is some forward sweep on the trailing edge, and wingtips are severely cropped. The result is something of a modified cropped delta wing, very similar to the Lambda wing that appeared on the very first Tempest concept, and closer to the large area delta that appears on later concept designs of the Tempest. As for the demo jet's tail fins, these are simpler than those on the latest Tempest mockup, being trapezoidal rather than having 5 sides. The canopy also appears to offer limited rearward visibility, and that's a weird word. Rearward. The underside of the fuselage has almost area-ruled hourglass-like contours. The factory floor photograph includes technicians, assembly tooling, work platforms, and production fixtures that immediately provide useful reference points. Even allowing for perspective effects, the demonstrator's center fuselage appears broad and deep. Looking down the spine of the aircraft, the width of the center body is especially striking. The absence of skin panels exposes a substantial internal space, which accommodates low observable serpentine intakes, while the distance between the outer mold line on each side further hints at the generous internal volume available inside of the aircraft. Of course, perspective can exaggerate proportions, but this remains a technology demonstrator rather than the final operational GCAP fighter, let alone a Tempest prototype. The aircraft that eventually enters service in the mid-2030s will undoubtedly differ in various respects. Air Commodore Martin Lowe, the Future Combat Air System Program Director at the UK Ministry of Defence, has stressed this exact reality. He highlights that the Combat Air Flying Demonstrator is not a Tempest prototype, particularly not in terms of shape or size. The final configuration of the Tempest has yet to be settled, but it will surely be bigger and more complex than the Demonstrator. A new full-size mock-up of the Tempest was also presented at the Farnborough International Airshow in England this week. While the Combat Air Flying Demonstrator has a definite F-35 look, the latest Tempest mock-up owes more to the F-22 Raptor. In fact, in at least one recent render seen in this video, it appears like a wider, squatter F-22, suggesting an even more generous internal capacity. The future combat aircraft is being designed around really extreme range and a payload approximately double that of the F-35A. Just in terms of internal and external ordnance for the F-35A, this equates to more than 18,000 pounds according to the manufacturer. This would suggest the Tempest's internal payload will be around 10,000 pounds compared to the F-35A's 5,000 pounds. Those requirements point towards a substantially larger aircraft with dramatically greater internal volume than today's fighters. They also reflect similar concerns that have driven the development of the U.S. Air Force's Boeing F-47 under the Next Generation Air Dominance Initiative. Range is heavily dictated by fuel load, which the Tempest will carry internally to preserve its stealth qualities. At the same time, carrying significantly more and larger internal weapons than current fighters demands larger weapons bays. Sixth generation aircraft are also expected to require unprecedented electrical power generation and cooling capacity to support advanced sensors, electronic warfare suits, communication systems, onboard computing, and potentially future compatibilities such as directed energy weapons. Thank you guys very much for watching. If you enjoyed watching, consider subscribing, smash the like button, type us a comment down below of what you thought about this episode, and of course, as always, you've been watching Everything Weapons. Ring the bell, that way you guys won't miss a video we post in the future, and be sure to check out my older content on the channel. Until next time, I will see you guys in my next video. Take care.